This is my dissection of the mammal kidney. Before opening, we can first identify any outer structures that need to be found. For example, the hilus or the hilum is this area here, where all the veins and arteries, for example, the renal artery and renal vein and ureter, this is where they enter and exit the kidney. In order to protect and maintain shape of the kidney, the renal capsule is responsible for this, and it also consists of irregular connective tissue. To connect the kidney to the urinary bladder, here is the ureter. The renal artery and the renal vein may be difficult to see just because they were severed very close to the hilus when the kidney was removed. The renal artery branches from the abdominal aorta and supplies the kidney with oxygenated blood, whereas the renal vein is a blood vessel that exits the kidney that carries and filters deoxygenated blood to the inferior vena cava. Now that we have opened the kidney, we are able to observe the renal cortex and the renal medulla. The renal cortex is this outer region of the kidney, whereas the renal medulla is the inner. The renal medulla consists of cone-shaped structures known as the renal pyramids. Their base is right next to the cortex. The tips of these pyramids are known as the renal papilla. They are continuous with the minor calyx and project into the renal sinus. A part of the cortex at the pyramid base and the pyramid itself and the portion of the adjacent renal column all make up something that is known as the renal lobe. The renal pelvis receives urine from the major calyces and continues with the ureter. This renal pelvis is formed by a thick wall of fibrous tissue. Observing the ureter and renal pelvis, we can now see fine ridges on the endothelial lining of these. They're kind of hard to see, but two last terms that we need to identify are the calyx and the renal corpuscle. The renal corpuscle is glomerulus enclosed with a glomerular capsule. It is used for cytofiltration. And the calyx is this cup-like division. It's found in the renal medulla, and the minor calyces empty into the major calyces and form the renal pelvis.